Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I would say that the two most highly requested things in Warzone over the course of time really have been an anti-cheat and console FOV. Now, obviously, we've got one of those in the game right now, and it is not console FOV. Pretty much ever since Warzone launched, console players have been saying, okay, how is it that we can't have console FOV when plenty of other games just like Warzone have it available, including some of the Call of Duty multiplayer games with Cold War and Vanguard? They've got it, why can't we have it? It is honestly a very, very big disadvantage playing on 80 FOV versus 90 versus 100, even versus 120, but it looks like at long last, we could potentially, keyword potentially, be seeing the console FOV updates based off some recent, blog reveals from Call of Duty where they say some pretty interesting things regarding the state of console. So as we go over everything, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it, would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't subbed yet, right around 58% of viewers watching are not subscribed yet. And every single day, I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. But when it comes to console FOV, I mean, let's be honest. We all thought this was pretty much a guaranteed thing when Vanguard was integrated into Warzone. Going into the whole Warzone Pacific update and the Caldera update and the actual Vanguard integration, they had specifically, they being Call of Duty and also the devs for Warzone Raven, stated that Warzone Pacific would be running off the same tech and the same engine as Vanguard. And obviously, if you look at Vanguard multiplayer, while it does feel relatively similar to Modern Warfare and to Warzone, the sliding mechanic and slide canceling in specific is slightly different. But other than that, I mean, the tack sprinting, the sliding, the way that everything plays and feels is almost one-to-one. And of course, console, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X all have console FOV. They can actually go all the way up to 120 FOV, and you can also change your ADS field of view with independent versus affected, which are all very, very big deals, right? Those are big things, big settings in game that make a drastic difference. And then you jump over to Warzone and you are looking down the fishbowl lens, basically, where you can't see anything outside of 80 FOV. When you ADS, there is no affected FOV, there is no independent FOV. You are stuck on one specific field of view, which is a very significant disadvantage in a game that has forced crossplay between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So the console FOV slider debate has been going on for as long as Warzone's existed. And of course, we were all severely let down when the Vanguard integration took place and the game felt exactly the same as it did before. Warzone, that is, felt exactly as it did on Verdansk 84, on OG Verdansk. It didn't seem like the engine actually changed at all outside of the anti-cheat being implemented. Sliding was still the same, slide canceling was still the same, auto tack sprint was still the same, and all these settings, console FOV included, did not end up changing. So looking forward to the future as to when console FOV could actually be implemented, technically it has the chance of being added to the game with any major title update. Any mid-season update, any seasonal launch update, any random title update, in theory could add that in. But if we go ahead and we look at Call of Duty's latest blog post, we actually covered this in full in a separate video last week. This was basically their address to the community saying, yeah, our games are in a very broken state, unplayable state. Modern Warfare is broken, Warzone's broken, Vanguard's broken. We hear you guys, we're listening. And they also specifically talked about console in this blog post and how they wanted to make some updates specifically there. They also announced the delay of Season 2 in this blog post, which to me is sort of almost hinting at the fact that Season 2's update should have some large updates for console. By no means, keep in mind, I want to make this very clear, this is not a confirmation that Season 2 is going to fix every single console issue and add in console FOV, but because it's all being talked about in the same conversation and in the same blog here, it does sort of indicate that the Season 2 update here on February 14th could have some significant updates for console. So here's basically what I want to break down. Season 2 is delayed to February 14th. They say we're going to use this additional development time, the 2 weeks that we're in right now, to deliver more updates, including optimizations to gameplay. That's a huge one. Game balancing with weapon tuning and whatnot. They're going to fix game stability and bugs, another big one that we'll talk about here later on. And they also said they want to ensure an overall level of polish to improve the experience for players across Vanguard, Warzone, Cold War, and Modern Warfare. They follow that with upcoming implementations will address several concerns raised by the community and other quality of life improvements. Now, console FOV is both a severe concern by the community, something that is, like I said at the start, one of the most highly requested features, and it's also a major quality of life improvement if it were to be added to console. Adjusting the core gameplay loop, that's one of the things they're going to be looking at. Mechanics, another thing they're going to be looking at, and balance is a continuing and important focus. Fixes will apply to your platform of choice, 2 generations of consoles and PC, as well as gameplay in general across all 5 systems. So essentially what they're focusing on here, they're putting emphasis on the fact they want both generations of consoles, PS4, Xbox One, and PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, to feel just like each other. They want the game to be seamless between all platforms, and gameplay in general across all consoles and PC to be as smooth as possible. And the way that that is essentially looking is that they want to have the same things available to all players across all platforms. So we really haven't had them go out of their way here and talk specifically on console. And when you bring up console and you talk Warzone in the same sentence, it is basically inevitable that FOV is going to enter the conversation as well. So this to me is probably the biggest indication that FOV could be coming to console. Again, I want to reiterate, this is by no means a confirmation, but simply something that brings the FOV conversation back up to the top of the priority list, because it's been quite some time since they've talked about console in the light that they're talking about it in right now. However, FOV is not the only thing that console is in desperate need of. Console in general for Warzone needs a lot of updates. So other things that I think could be included with this season 2 update and beyond in terms of quality of life improvements for console and for Warzone in general include actual 120 Hz stability for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. As I'm sure you know, if you play on those consoles, it's not fully available anymore. The Pacific update basically glitched the game out and removed 120 Hz from consoles in some cases, so you're stuck on 60 Hz or 60 FPS, which is basically no different from playing back on PS4 Xbox One. You don't really have a significant new gen console advantage there. Potentially they could also be adding in different graphic options for console if they're trying to make the experience between PC and console more seamless. I don't expect them to have every single graphic option and setting that PC has, because there's more to fine tune on PC, but adding in a couple more settings to help with different rendering things, distance scaling and whatnot, could actually be pretty beneficial for console as well, especially if they add in 120 FOV or FOV in general for console. Really what I'm getting at is that it does appear some big changes and some big improvements are coming for console gameplay on Warzone, and that in and of itself is good news. It'll just be great news if they actually address, or better yet, confirm console FOV is coming in the relatively near future, right? Because outside of the random title updates, like I said, the seasonal updates and the mid-season updates, FOV really is not looking all that likely outside of this blog post and everything. If they don't add these in within these Vanguard seasons, the next most likely scenario would probably be when Microsoft takes over in summer of 2023. Which is way too far down the road to make console suffer through this 80 FOV madness. So hopefully we get some official news soon, but based off of their wording in this blog post, it does seem like console FOV and some other significant console updates are on their way. With all that being said though, that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it, would be seriously appreciated. And of course, if you're new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, news, updates, loadouts, tips, it is all right here. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. And as always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. The links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.